back to my International Academy of Wing Chun podcast. My name is Greg Willis, and this is my conversation with a Grandmaster. Hi, Sifu Klaus. Thanks for joining me again, and welcome back to my International Academy of Wing Chun podcast.
Thank you.
Sifu, in this episode, let's discuss the 5 virtues that you've set in the IAW system. Also, the principles and mottos that govern kind of what we do and how we do it. So first, let's speak about the 5 virtues: will, diligence, honor, perseverance, courage. How did you decide on these? How important are they to each student of the IAW?
I mean, it is important to every warrior or everyone who wants to be successful in whatever way. It is not only the Wing Chun way, what I meant when I developed the virtues. It was for me the way to live and have success and do what I want. Later we speak about the principles and the mottos, but the virtues alone would even lead you, maybe in our way, in our scene, like Wing Chun scene, could lead you to a wrong way, you know. So you go motivated, but the wrong way, and that's why we have to speak about the virtues. But as well as this, we have to speak about the principles and mottos, because that have helped you to recognize that you are maybe a good person, you're very diligent and whatever, but you are diligent and motivated to go the wrong way. So even that could happen.
Yeah. Okay.
But we both, I mean, even you, we went our ways, and sometimes it is necessary to learn, sometimes we go it too long, you know, so we lose a lot of time. And the mottos and principles could prevent you to do the wrong thing or go the wrong way too long. So the virtues, yes, I guess, I mean, for me, they are just 5 virtues. Every warrior in the past in Germany, the knights or whatever, they had their virtues, and for me, these 5 virtues are enough to live a whole life in satisfaction.
Okay.
Because, you know, the first, of course, what you need is the will. Without the will, nothing happens. And the problem is, if you have a will to do something, sometimes the courage is not strong enough to do it, to go this way, because every way you go or everything you change is a conflict, could be a conflict for you. And the most prevent conflicts, because conflict means a lot of work, physically or mentally work. You have to change something. It could be in work, you're thinking, you lose friends, it could be a relationship, it could be everything, you know. So, but if you wait and you stay with it, it makes you unhappy time by time, and you don't reach your ideal. Do you say ideal, like the one you want to reach, the final thing, your ideal? Yeah, and so the will, of course, it's necessary, but without courage and without this knowledge that you maybe have now some conflicts in front of you, you have to solve somehow. You do not go the way. The will is not enough, and so in that way, it needs a very strong courage. And as a Wing Chun doer, you know what I mean, but the private person sometimes they do not really know what courage actually is. Courage is really you know, if you lose friends, for example, the friends cannot follow you anymore, they do not understand you anymore, and you think, oh, I have to be gentle, or I have to do what my friends want, otherwise I lose them. But losing friends sometimes is sometimes even the first way to success. Because if you don't change, if you always do the same thing, you cannot expect that some other thing is come into your life. Yeah.
And I guess it's like, as you said in the previous episode, you do things for you. You don't do things for your students. You don't do things for other people. You think about yourself.
It sounds always egoistic when you say it now, and I hear it from your words, from your mouth.
Yeah, not literally like that, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, but actually, it is like this, you know. And,
yeah,
it is like this. It brings people to you who think the same way. So actually, you have a better life afterwards. It is how do you call it? Like a magnet. You pull other people with the same.
Yeah, you attract these people in.
Yeah,
Like-minded
you
people.
trap it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an automatic system. It's actually how you call it. You pull or love or whatever. You spread something, and that pulls some people.
Mm.
Yeah, and so the first two virtues are important to just start, to not just want to do it. You do it. You even with the knowledge or within, that you have to do something, and it could need some years to come closer to your ideal. You have to go this way. You know this. And the third was for me the diligence. I mean, without diligence, you cannot do it. It's not just the courage, you have to do it, not just want to do it, and you dare to start. After you start, you have to keep it, and you have to repeat it and repeat it to become good, to become an expert in what you are doing. Otherwise, you never find satisfaction. And you could now delay the fourth part, like the perseverance, because it's anyway logic if you are diligent, but it is not that easy. Diligence and perseverance for me is it's a difference. Yeah, the perseverance is, I mean, that we had in our past, you and me, some very diligent students. We can even say talented students. And I could say I had 50 or 100, around this, between 50 and 100, very, very good instructors. And they all could be or reach a master degree easily. But they had some other problems all of a sudden, or easier ways to go, like the dreaming factories. They pull them and promised them certificates, and then the perseverance were gone. So they had not the perseverance. They are diligent, they have the honor and the will, but the perseverance were gone. It's just disappeared, vanished in the whatever. So so in that way, for me, it's not the same, or it's not the same equal perseverance and diligence. You need this perseverance to say, okay, I'm on the right way. I keep this way. I want to become, even if it takes some more years than I expected. You need to have and to live perseverance. Yeah, you better have no expectations. You know what I mean? The expectations sometimes destroy everything. You expect that you reach something in the next year in August, and if it does not appears in August, you're unhappy. So actually, the expectations sometimes lead to unhappiness.
And it's always very difficult in the regards throughout the student's kind of journey through training Wing Chun. The expectations change, and the situation changes. The pressure changes, because early on you're searching for, so everything is new. Everything you learn, every single class is new. It's all new material. And then you get to a certain level and you're repeating material. And so all the training changes throughout the various grades. And like you said, it's not about chasing the grade. And that can cause a lot of problems. As you say, expectation, you're expected to reach this grade, but you don't reach it for whatever reason. It's delayed, and that causes problems. And so perseverance problems as well.
Yeah, the infinite of possibilities actually is something we have to expect as a Wing Chun student. And we all are students. Even I am a student. You are a student. I'm a student. We are all students. And this infinite possibilities lead to have the feeling you start every whatever month, 3 months, half a year. Later, it takes a bit longer. You start new. You have the feeling, oh God, I have to start new. Actually, right. We have actually what we need to fight. We would not need much more. But as a martial artist, we want to learn more. We want to know just more options, possibilities, techniques. And the more uninteresting techniques, they are coming later. They are maybe not that interesting that the beginner, what the beginner learn, but they are interesting because they show you more possibilities for different situations, specific situations. Some attack is not exactly in that angle like the other attack. So the angles are so different, and so an attack could be hold back with the technique but it has better techniques, and these techniques are not more important, but for these specific situations they are better, and so we learn more things, and then we have to combine it and connect everything we know with this new thing, and that is a lot of work.
Why do you think that we see a lot on the internet? Sorry, diverging off a bit, but interesting what you say. That the more advanced material is not as important as the early material, but all you see on the internet is really wooden dummy stuff, jong stuff, or some really abstract long pole training that's really traditional end of the system kind of training.
The thing is, the most people or the most instructors, they sell this idea of secret technique, the secret technique. And the secret is as long secret as you don't know an instructor who is showing you the secret. And if he don't want to show you everything or what you want to know, he's not an instructor. And another problem is that the most do not learn the most important at the beginning, like we do in WingChun and SAT. The most important you learn in the first year. I mean, this is definitely true. Yeah. And the less important things are not crazy things or unnecessary things. They are very important, but less important, not that important like what you learn in the first year. Because in the first time, you have to learn how to survive. And this is, so to say, the most important. And every instructor have the task to show his student how to survive in the first years, how to survive regular strike, how to attack right, how to attack strong, and how to stand. And all these things, they are the most important. And I guess what you see in internet shows that the most do not know what is the most important. They think these are the secrets now, the long pole and Mokyansang and wooden dummy, and the applications from the Mokyansang are so secret and important that I show that I am advanced. But when they look at them, and I love it to look at them, I see in the first movement that they know nothing. I mean, it's easy to see as an expert. It's easy to see that they do not know what they are doing, and they do not trust what they learned before. They think this is actually what they have to show up. And when you look at them when they do demos, at the end they do lots of punches, wiggling around, and actually do not know what to do. They show this technique, but they do not know why they did learn it. They have no connection idea. And I mean, I would say this is really a big problem in the scene right now. You know, you have this Mokyansang people. They think this is the most important, and everything else is not important. They have this long pole guys who, what is this? You have this pulling and pushing guys. I mean, this is the worst of all. Pushing and pulling. You mean, can you imagine 10 guys running to other 10 guys because they want to fight? And then they start pushing and pulling. No one is kicking, striking, or whatever, stabbing, or whatever. No. They're pulling and pushing. I mean, who would start a fight like this? These are aspects of a fight. But even if you never, ever, as a student, learn how to pull and to push, it's not necessary. You could delay it.
You wouldn't miss anything. Yeah.
You wouldn't miss anything because this has nothing to do with martial art. Of course, it could happen, and you could speak about it. And what are you doing if someone pushed you? But if you are not the best pusher in the world, you are maybe a great martial artist. You have not to become the best pusher or puller. Yeah? So, and this misunderstanding is so confusing. And I understand that the students do not know, or the interested parties do not know what to do and how to start and where to start. They have no idea. They just start because the advertisement shows Wing Chun. They saw a movie or they heard something about, and then they start and I do some Wing Chun. But at the end, when they really would know what they do, they would end it immediately.
And I guess it also stems back from Ip Man and the movies from Ip Man and the classical videos and pictures that are the only ones in existence from Ip Man shows him on a wooden dummy. And so I guess this is the thing to try and get to as soon as possible.
Yeah, they think this is the target. This is the goal they should reach as soon as possible, and then they are like him. I mean, if you look a Spider-Man movie, you don't jump from the building, and you don't you rebuild your car if you look at the Superman movie. I mean, some are doing it, some are really doing it, but you cannot live in this fantasy world. We have to become realistic, and it's like inductive thinking. If you think step by step to reach a point which says you, okay, this is a fact I cannot ignore. Inductive thinking, and they are not trained to think inductive, step by step to reach a point. And they just believe what they hear, and it's easy, if you have 20 people in one room and they all believe in passivity, for example. This is the most weird thing in the Wing Chun systems, passivity. You want to react with a defense as soon as coincidentally someone touch your arm during he want to strike. I mean, this you have to digest this somehow, and then
this thing to yield.
And then you want to yield, and we call this collapsing arm. We call this a defense then. And of course it works, because all these believers, these cult people in this one room believe it, and they attack themselves like, let it work. And
they play the game whilst training.
They play the game, even with their instructors who really slap his. They don't attack their instructors in the right way. Like we spoke in the last podcast about it, when I was angry with my instructor, attack me, don't choke me, I want to prove to you that it is right what I do. And if you are in this cult, the cult is hard to break if you are in this room. But of course, outside the room, it never would work. You have to explain your attacker what he have to do to make it work. And then they go out and they do not realize when someone asks you, what are you doing? I show you how we defend. Attack me exactly like, no, your elbow have to be, no, you have to, no. And then they correct the attacker as long as the defense works. And they do not, during they do it, they do not even realize, fuck, I'm living a cult. I try to convince my attacker, the one who attacks me, to do what I want to have to defend it. And this is so hard sometimes, because
and I think I was in that same position. I was in that same position with the old system, the EWT, and I guess it goes back to the virtues of your own courage to be true to yourself, to say, actually, I know that all of these movements and things that I'm doing, they're not applicable. They won't really work. I'm cheating myself. And so it takes the courage to stand up and be true to yourself, to then speak to your instructor, find another system, speak to someone else. So I've been through the same thing and had the same feelings.
And I'm pretty sure more of you, of people like us, like you, are outside, but they don't know what to do. And they feel there is something wrong, but they don't know where to go, because everywhere where they go is a bit different, but actually the same. Actually the same. I want to say something more the same stuff. And in that way, I have this last, which is the honor. You say in English, you say honor, right? Honor.
No, it's a kind of a silent H. Honor. Yeah.
Sometimes I hear I honor in US and England. I hear it sometimes honor. Do they speak the H or not? Well, okay. The honor
honor.
is the last.
Yeah.
If you have the honor, so
Mm.
I mean, is what I do honorable? Is that really honorable? Can I be proud of what I do? And this question should everyone ask himself sometimes. What do I do here? So I mean, if you look back to wars, if it is 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago, the samurais, when they tried to different clans try to conquest Japan, I mean, they fought, and fighting is life or death, yeah, in the past, and now the same. It is the same. It is not about a fight. It is about to win as soon as possible, and pushing and pulling and losing time with things no one is interested in, actually, in a real fight. And the problem is, we have now a century that the most they do not know what is a real fight, and the ones who knows what is a real fight, these are not the people we like to teach. Yeah? it's really a problem nowadays, yeah, because the most are far away from it. They have some struggles sometimes in the classroom or outside, but really fight. I mean, we have to know we have to realize what is actually a fight. And I cannot enough speak about it. A fight is life or death. A real fight is life or death. You want to destroy your opponent as soon as possible. That could mean everything. You just break his bones, you break his nose, and he's crying, whatever. You run home to his mom, or you have to break his bones because he don't stop, or he dies. I mean, do you know how the fight ends? Can we plan the end of the fight? And this is the same when we sometimes get asked, do you have sparring? I mean, if the end is open, would you like to spar? If the end would be open, what kind of idiot would like to spar? Of course, you can spar in a sport because you do not learn techniques which are that dangerous. You could not. And you have a rule. You have to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You have rules. Yeah. And then you can spar, of course, with these rules. But without rules, who would like to spar without rules? I mean, they have some guys, they do some bare knuckle fights, yeah. And I would like to see sometimes that this dreamers, really dreamers, with this passivity and try to react as soon as someone contact coincidentally. I always have to say coincidentally their arms, because it's not a rule to contact arm before the fist reach the face, yeah. Destroy the teeth row, yeah. I mean, it's not fun, yeah. That is not fun. You have to be strong, and you have to train your. I like to say it, muscle system. You have to train your muscle system. Your muscles are all what you have. You cannot do something without muscles. You cannot take your jacket on in the morning, or your shoes. You cannot drink a coffee without the fitting muscles for it.
And I think that's one of the very stark differences of the IAW, your system, versus others, is the collision aspect of a defensive movement.
You cannot imagine how many letters I get after the article "Collision: The Only Solution." When I wrote this article, I guess it was 2014, such a long time ago, almost. Yeah, I guess it was about 8 years ago when I wrote this article, and something. What do you mean? I thought you are doing the same. Can you speak about the collision? But if one guy is striking and the other one is defending, this contact, what happens after defending the strike, if the strike do not reach the target, which is, let's say, your face or your throat or your body somehow, if the attack does not reach the target, that we call it defense, and that is a contact. And this is the end of the strike, not the beginning or the end of the defense. Let's say it's the end of the defense. Not the beginning of the defense, the contact. This is the contact. But this is not a nice contact. This is a hardcore contact. You hold it back. You were able to defend it. Be happy, and then you can strike back. Yeah, the five virtues are very important for everyone to find a good life with or without Wing Chun. It has really nothing to do with Wing Chun. It has something to do with be what is this word? Be good to you. Be fair to your own life. Yeah. True. Yeah. Be true to yourself. Can you say this? Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be true to
absolutely.
yourself. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to think about yourself, your own life, and look, what am I doing and why do I doing it? Yeah. So look how the most people live. They live the life they have to live for some reasons, but not to find their ideal. And for me, the only life which is worth it to live is the way to my ideal. And in that way, to be like we said last time, to be a master, a grandmaster, technician, a student, as we are all the same. We are on the way, and the way is the way because it has to be gone. It has not have an end. It is infinite. It is. We cannot finish it as a human. We are not the Conor McLeod from the clan of McLeod, living 350 years or whatever. We are not this guy. It would be great. I would love it to train 350 years. I mean, or 600. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I'm pretty sure in 100 years, I would say, Craig, I developed something. You would be will be happy
Can you
about
imagine
it.
the changes? Yeah.
I have something to change now after 200 years, and I'm pretty sure about it. And that is the other thing what you mentioned about Yip Man. What he did in the past is what when Edison would come up and see the light movements of a city, would he recognize his work? Yeah.
He would be amazed.
He would be amazed.
Where it's gone.
He would bow. He would bow and say, "Wow,
yeah.
This is what happened now. What my development was a little start, and now they developed this. Wow, yeah." He would be proud of him because he was the first who went this way. But we cannot say, "Let's see what Edison did," because this is bad. This is just past. This is gone. This was the beginning of everything, and development is looking forward, not looking back. And this is what the most do. They're looking back. What did Japan do? What did he? How did he do a kick? How did he? The other thing is when they filmed him, he was old and sick. It was not a good time for him to be filmed in this age.
Yeah, it's a shame that all the videos are from like you say, when he was looking a bit poorly and old and not in his prime before.
Yeah. Can we not just have respect for the start and respect for his life and say we bow sometimes from inner to him and say thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's
for bringing it to the rest. Yeah.
This is honorable.
Yeah, exactly. So should we move on to the principles and mottos? So the 8 principles and 12 mottos we have, just by reading the principles, they're more kind of movement orientated and of a like training mindset. And the mottos are as they are. They're more generic kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So what led you to create these 8 principles and 12 mottos?
Okay. The truth is, actually, I had 5 principles. The first 5 principles were the principles I had. The last 3 principles, 6, 7, and 8, were created because of the guys who are around us, the distant destroyers.
Okay.
And that way, let's go to the number 6, 7, 8. Maybe this is important to know why I created 6, 7, and 8. Because the 6 is says that you never should maintain contact to arms of your opponents, and this is what they do. So they start with the contact to the arms, and they never lose contact, blah blah blah. And I say never maintain contact, because what I said before, one is striking, the other one is defending, and then it comes to contact, and this is a collision.
Yeah.
And should I maintain this contact for what? This is losing time. That is wasting time until I have to strike back. The number 7 was that they say you don't have to add some power. It is so weird and not bad if you use your own power and force and muscles and blah blah blah. And that way I say use all your available power. I mean, you use your complete power to make by making in the same time the technique as exact as possible, as fast as possible. So if you, of course, use only power and you are stiff and you cannot move anymore, that makes no sense. But use all your available power. Actually, it should be a long sentence, by doing the technique as exact as possible, as fast as possible, in the same way. Of course, some techniques, like a defending technique, has not that much speed. An attacking technique has more speed. The one has more speed, the other one has more power. But all of technique, and we have always to do the maximum what is necessary to do this technique. In the future, you will see I will change my teaching completely, because I will explain exactly this. What do you need the most for this technique? It is more speed or more power. Yeah, and then you have to fit what you need to the technique. But you need for this technique the maximum you have. What else? What else? I mean, no question. And the last one, the 8, was never defending an attack and defend in the same time, because it requires your full attention. This is just a fact. Everything, if you do an attack or defense, you cannot do a defense in the same time. In the same time, my attack works for sure. You're absolutely sure, because you are the king. Yeah. And in that way, at the same time, you speed an attack. Do you know what attack you need after? I mean, this is a little phase. Yeah. You need to know that your attack works. And after you know it works, after the collision, immediately after the collision, you start with an attack, and you have to know what kind of attack. And this is a practitioner style, to know this.
And like you're saying, the defense is an attack, right? And that's and also one of the things we're speaking about. So when you say attack, you're attacking the attack. Yeah. I mean the attack to attack the opponent. Yeah. But the defense, you're right. The defense is the attack to counter attack the attack, to actually hold back the attack from your opponent. And so defense and attack in the same time, blah, blah, blah. This is not possible, or you have just a weak opponent, some clown, yeah? But if you have not a clown as an opponent, you cannot do this. You cannot say, okay, I know this works 100% and I can strike during I defend because I know it works 100%. It doesn't move me. No. It's nothing else necessary that this defense. So it's for secureness. It's to make sure you. It sounds obvious when you say it, but you have to make sure the defense works first.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
it looks like for maybe it looked like it for a very advanced guy. If you do now a defense and attack, I would bet it looks like the same time. It would look like the same time. For me, not, because I know what you're doing, but for a beginner, if he observes you and you do whatever defense and an attack, since you do it, of course it looks like the same time.
Yeah.
And you could even say, this is the same time, you see? And everyone would believe you, because there's nothing to doubt. Because it looks like it, but it is not.
It's very quick. Bum. It's a very quick thing.
Yeah, it's very big. Yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
like 2 drumsticks, finish. That's it.
Yeah.
Defense, attack, defense, attack.
Yeah.
Of course, you're getting fast as soon as you're good. Yeah, but it is not the same time. It is not the same time. If you would attack in the same time, that would mean you attack the attacker during he attacks you. You know, when I'm in country A, you are in country B, and you are sending a cruise missile to me, and I see it, and I send a cruise missile to you. Does it make sense? Would it be better to defend the first cruise missile and then send my cruise missile out? Why attacking an attacker? And the other question is, if someone attacks you and you prepare your defense and attack at the same time, you could be the attacker. Who is the attacker then? Who the hell is the attacker? Can we not say it has one attacker and one who has the defense first? I mean, it's a question of a part of a second. You know, what is this discussion actually worth it? It's not. And though in the last 3 I just made, they are nowadays necessary, but they wouldn't be necessary if this freaking fraction.
They shouldn't be necessary, but unfortunately they are. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are necessary to explain, and it's okay. It's okay to explain because actually I'm happy that they exist, because otherwise I never would thinking about it, and it is necessary to know.
Clears up some issues, yeah.
But the other principles like 1 to 5 is actually perfect. You know, what is an attack? What is a defense? Yeah, and you always have to know that you have. If you are not the attacker, you have the defense first. I mean, what an easy thing! But of course, you have to explain it. Of course, when you read old books, old martial art books, old historical readings, I see always the same. They explain the simplest thing, because the simplest thing have to be clear for us, and then we understand martial art at the end. And the other thing is about defense, the distance, the number 4. It's about the attack, the defense, who is the attacker, who is the defender. You have to be sure, even if it takes just a tenth of a second to make sure who is who. And the other thing, of course, if the distance is reached, and then the students have to learn about what is the main distance, what is a short distance, what is a long distance, what is the main distance. And the main distance is the most important distance in the system we have. This distance in which your attacker could reach you, or with a little step reach you. And if he comes into this distance, of course, and is still hesitating if he should attack or not, of course, you are automatically the attacker. And this have to be clear. That have to be absolutely clear. And the other thing, number 5, could be one of my principles, could be written because of they are existing. Because the most think they have only to strike from the middle, because the shortest way from A to B is a strong.
There's a lot about the center line, and you have to maintain this. Yeah.
I mean, of course, if I can do this, I do this. But you know how many many strikes we have in the WingChun system? How many strikes we have? And it's only 1, actually 2, when we take Linban Kühn as a technique as well, from the middle line, let's say the middle line. Otherwise, we speak too much about the center, and the center is often a bit lower than necessary, you know. Yeah. Even that is a problem we have to speak about sometimes, because it's a technical thing. I need to explain it really I need a bit longer to explain it. What is the center, the middle, and what does it mean actually? But to strike from outside, I mean, we have shoulders, and our shoulders are the source of the power of an arm. With the chest muscle, the shoulder muscle, the back muscle who pulls the shoulder down, and our triceps, who is speeding the arm, and many other muscles who are synergists and helps to support what I do. Even the stance is a part of my strike. Yeah? I'm not sitting. I am not sitting by doing Chi-Cell. Not me. Yeah? Because I know the stance is a part of it, not a chair.
Yeah.
So my legs, so my stand, how I stand, how I go, how I step, everything is a part of my strike. And you will be surprised when I start to show me my new way of teaching. I'm really sure about it. You will be surprised because I focus more on basic, simple things, which are making a warrior in 1 year. We are able nowadays, with our knowledge, to create warriors, really cool warriors, in 1 year. In a 1 year, I'm sure about this.
Yeah.
Even guys who never did something before, I can create warriors in a 1 year. With my knowledge, what I have now, I developed a muscle training. I will love it.
I am looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. The episode is coming. Yeah.
The episode is coming. Yeah. We don't say too much now.
Yeah.
We have some surprises for the people, and especially for our students. Some shock for the rest maybe. But I have a new muscle training, rotation muscle training. Rotation muscle training. Really cool, really cool. You will love it, because with this training, really simple ideas, you can improve your defenses, the most important defenses of the system, and the most important attacks of the system so much. It's incredible. Thought so. It's so simple, actually, but you have to do it, of course. It's simple.
And these are the best things. Some of the most simple things are the most beautiful and powerful things, right?
Yeah, this is just a fact, and I'm pretty sure in the close future, in the near future, you will, even during a SAT class, do this with your guys. These exercises for ending a class, not for beginning, that makes the muscle tired, but for ending the class after before they go home. Some muscle exercises, some exercise who brings the muscle to the in a right rotation to the maximum power. It's so cool. Yeah, and I focus on smaller things to explain when are we striking. Are we striking during we stand, or are we going forward? How much of the way we are going to make the 100% powerful strike?
Yeah.
This is so important, and I think so much about it since the last 2 years. You cannot imagine. This time was a crazy time for the whole world, but for me, it was a time to rethink about everything. And the most, of course, it's the same. I did not change really techniques. I have some ideas, some better ideas to explain it, and some ways to make the students stronger, and a better focus to say, come on, let's go too far and do some techniques, some unnecessary things.
Yeah.
Do what we need to do, and maybe some fun things and possibilities, options at the end of the training. Even some, of course, weapon aspects as well, because it's anyway teaching coordination, teaching your eyes, teaching reaction. It improves your reaction time, etc., etc. It is necessary, and so the principles, of course, are actually simple. If you read it, of course, it makes sense. But do you always, when you do a technique, rethink about the principles if your technique is right? And this could every student do all the time. Do I do this right? Do I stick too long after the contact? Did I react in the right time? Did I actually have to do a counter attack against the attack, or was the opponent too close that I am actually would be the attacker? So was I too late? Yeah, all these questions, it's easy to answer with the principles. You can ask after every attack and defense, what you do with your partner. You could ask yourself, was I right? Yeah. Was it too late?
Does it
Was
maintain?
it too early?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he the attacker? Wasn't he actually sure that he was the attacker? You know, when I look for when people train together, and I say, okay, you are the attacker, you are the defender, and the defender waits for the attacker. That's so funny sometimes. You know, they say, okay, I am the defender, but no, you are the defender as long as the attacker knows he's the attacker. Otherwise, it's confusing. Yeah. So, and it sounds easy, it sounds simple. The principles sound simple, but they are so much. They give you all what you have to know.
And I regularly get this question. And there was a student, a new student that's joined a couple of weeks ago, and he posed the same question. And it's always the same when you're early on in the student life. How would I defend this attack? If someone attacks like this, how do I defend? But then I switch it and I say, this is totally the wrong question. Your mindset is you are the attacker. The question is, how do they defend your attack? Don't have this negative thinking from day one.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. This is cool. This is cool. These are the questions I had in the past, you know. And when you can ask when you have time, Sifu, what I did say when the students asked me, I say, I don't know. Or I said, what would I do? Maybe WingChun. I would do WingChun.
I would do WingChun,
yeah. Well, I just said, I don't know what I do. Let's see. Yeah. Because do you actually really know the complete situation? What are you doing? Are you attacking? Are you defending? Are you really promise? Can you promise someone, I defend your attack with this technique?
Yeah.
I never promise. I'm a warrior. I do not promises. I cannot promise someone, I promise you I defend this attack. If you do it right, if you do it like I exactly want it, then I promise you 100% I defend it with this defense. No, we have no contract. We did not sign a contract before.
And I remember in our last instructor class, where you joined us and you gave some words of wisdom at the start, which was really great. And one thing that stuck to me was the three things. We attack first. If this is not successful or defended in some way, you counterattack again. And then thirdly is you have to defend because of a good attack. But actually, it's an inconvenience. It's funny to say, but it's an inconvenience to defend.
Of course. I always try to avoid defending. I mean, why should I defend? Someone want to attack me. Now the question is, does he want to attack me or does he attack me? What he wants is his problem. I want to attack as well. So if I feel like a defender, and this is actually self-defense, self-defense, the word, you know, it always sounds like defense. Self-defense. I mean,
it's quite negative.
It's quite negative, but we have to explain to students, okay, it's called self-defense, but what is it? And therefore we have the principles, therefore we have the training, therefore we need at least 1 year to change a person's mind. It needs a year. Same like when students come to you and say, can I do a trial class? You say, I teach self-defense. Say, yeah, can I look? I want to see if I like it. What do you want to like? To kill someone? You want to you look if it looks good to save your life in an emergency situation.
So I guess the question is not to see if I like WingChun or have a trial class. It's be clear in your mind what you want to train.
Yeah, but what do they want to see in a trial class? If they like the technique to defend, if it feels good, or if it feels good to attack someone, what do they want to know? If you want to learn self-defense and you see there is a school, you can learn self-defense here. What do you want to see in a trial class? Maybe this is the only thing. If the instructor fits to you, if you like him, or his explanations, this is just it. But everything else, you have no plan. You cannot judge what you see. You cannot say, "Oh, I don't like this. He took so much power, or he whatever." He
Because this takes time.
He did not let me strike one time. I want to attack him, but he attacks me. Can you imagine this? Yeah, I had this in US very often. You attack me, guy. So yeah, you are too slow. But I can show you how to be a bit faster. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So what would your response be to someone? I get that weekly. Can I come to your class? Can I have a trial class? Do you offer a trial lesson?
Yeah,
And of course I say yes, come along and we can speak and you can have a free trial lesson.
Yeah. But my advice for every instructor, a trial lesson is okay, but don't try to convince this person to start self-defense. Show him just what you do. Show him just a step, a stance, a strike. Not much explanations. He start a trial lesson, and this is the way. It could be even a stance, a whole evening, or one strike from a stance, or Zhong Kühn, for example, or Lin Wan Kühn, or from Qingma, from Qingzhenma, whatever. But don't try to convince him. Look, I show you why it is necessary to, or how you defend yourself. I did so much sometimes, and it is unnecessary. If he wants to learn to defend himself in some situations, he start the class or not. This is just it. But we sometimes show and we explain the technique in perfection, and then they go and they don't understand us. They did not understand us and never come back. Better you show really simple things, a strike, just a strike into the air with a step. Say, wow, you did well. You are able to start. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks good. You're good. Yeah. You're a good guy. Looks good.
Interesting. It's good advice. It's good advice.
And I did so much. I remember what did I do? Wow, when we went to San Francisco 5 times a year, and every campus I did explanations in front of hundreds of people, and I tried to explain. And later they asked me, like, well, what do you do against this? What do you do? And I tried to explain it. Blah, blah, blah. And one of these guys started, maybe not one. Yeah. So what did I do actually? I waste my time by answering their questions, their mind, their idea. But now I start with my idea. I explain you how it starts. That's it. I am there. You are here. You can start with me or not. Yes, it's pretty simple. We should change our mind even in this way. Not convincing someone. I mean, he convinced himself to learn self-defense. That is the reason he called you up.
That's the start. Yeah.
Yeah, that is any way to start. If you have no will to start, I mean, what do you want to do? Please have the will. Please have the courage. Please have diligence. Please have perseverance. Please have honor. Yeah. Please.
You can't convince.
I mean, even these things, they are growing sometimes. They are growing. Some I'm not starting with all these 5 honors, all these 5 virtues, by the way. Some have no honor or no diligence, but sometimes with the interest in the art, they create it. You help them to create virtues, develop virtues.
It develops and it grows. Yeah. Sifu, on principle number 5, I'm reading through them, and it's interesting. So it's quite a long, detailed, not quite long, but principle number 5. In the middle, it says about attacks from the outside cannot be ignored or displaced or stopped without trained skill. So, like as you say, the midline attack isn't perfect. It's not the best one.
It is a outside. Very good one. If you're a very good one, if someone does not strike you from the outside, if my opponent does not strike me from the outside, okay, let's say now we have to create a situation. I strike in the same time when another one strike from outside, from inside. Yeah, I strike from inside, and in the absolute same time, he strike from outside. So now we have a veto, and the veto costs us 0.2 seconds. I explain you sometimes exactly what I mean. The veto is like some experienced guy wants to steal your pocket. And you see that you see him in this moment, and he go down and do some, like he catch the fly or whatever, We have a veto. We can start something, but we can stop it.
Mm.
And this veto costs us about 0.2 seconds. It's great. It's great that we have it. We are so good. We could, so to say, stop this middle attack to defend the outer, because, and now we have the point, from my middle strike, the shoulder is here and the strike is in the middle. That means I never wedge someone who strikes from the outside, but he's wedging me by striking my middle position, that my chin or my middle line. If he strikes me outside, of course not. But if he wants to break my strike, he always breaks my arm by striking me. From outside, you are wedging the strike from the inside, but from inside, you're wedging nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Because the arm starts from the shoulder. This is a wedge. And the longer my arm gets, so the more my arm is straight, my strike is almost done, the easier I'm wedgeable. Yeah. The easier,
the weaker your position is.
Yeah, the weaker is my position. And everything which is coming from outside, you cannot just ignore. It is not worse or bad or not good enough. This is perfect. I mean, you can strike from outside in a not good perfection. It has a lot of strikes which are not good, really not good. But our strikes, like the inner and outer Zhongkun, or the inner and outer Guankun, what we have, these four strikes are so crazy strong. They destroy everything which is coming from the middle. In that way, you need a lot of skills, really good skills, to defend something which is coming from outside. But it's relative easy to defend something from the inside.
Because of the options you have, left and right arm.
Yeah, much more options, much easier, if something is coming straight. But of course, it is the shortest way, and I always do this first. If nothing is in this way, why shouldn't I try it? So it's direct, it is powerful, it is great. But if I have to destroy something or to wedge something in an opponent's arm, then it's much better to come from the outside, of course.
Okay.
It's in our Chisao, actually, there are so many parts. The most Chisao doers would not understand. You know what I mean? After the fork and preparing the outside punch, say, wow, if you pull back, I could strike, but it's your Tansao. You just defended me. It's not a preparation to strike. And this to explain to someone who starts with some other style needs longer than you would explain it to an absolutely new guy.
Yeah.
Because he has to give up first his he has to give up what he learned first. He have to let it go, and this is not easy for the most. And I have so much respect, like I said last time, when some say, "Okay, that sounds cool, let's start," or they start new, and even if they had some grades and certificates, and they lost some money and all this and time, and they have the honor to say, "Okay." This is the better way. I go this way, even if I have to start from the scratch. That is honorable.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, because you explained that exact thing in that video when you was over with us in Tunbridge about the opening, the Chisao, and the Toikyun, and you explained it in this video, the defending, the suppression or prevention. Yeah,
I had with Sifu Ralph, I did in Karlsruhe, a perfect German video, by the way, but I really explain it in perfection, what and why are we doing this. And it's really for someone who think about we have to keep contact and outside is a problem and inner wins. They think that Tan is a preparation for an attack. Can you imagine? I strike you from outside and you hold it with a Tan, and I put it away. The Tan is not a preparation for attack. The Tan is a Tan. You have to prepare after your Tan. The Tan is not a preparation for a strike. This is just a Tan. It's a finished way what you have gone. You have to put it back to create something new from it.
Mm.
But therefore, you have actually the other arm to create something new, not the taunt arm. This is, in the first, they say in the same time, attacking and defending. And then the defense becomes the attack in the same time. How is that possible? So this is an unlogic in thinking. They stuck in reverse, and they always come back to the same point. It's not possible to do this, what you're actually teaching. But our Chisao would be enough. And Chisao, by the way, is even a good training for SAT. Just a basic Chisao. I love it. Basic Chisao. I mean, that explains a lot, and that makes strong arms.
Yeah.
We could do it left and right. Even that is possible. Why not?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just single movements out of it.
The core ideas behind, and just do the single movements. Yeah.
Let's make a little stop. The mottos, because this is a lot to digest. Let's do this at another podcast.
Okay.
Because the mottos are very, very specific. It is just 12 or are they 13 or 12?
12? Yeah.
12. Yeah, I guess I had 13 in the very, very beginning. But 12 is absolutely enough. The first motto, anyway, everyone understands, because we are human because we think. We are human because we think. If we would not think, we wouldn't exist. Thinking is so important. And in that way, let's do another podcast, because of I have to.
There's a lot of detail. Yeah.
Really. Let's work this out. And these mottos, let's do it another time, because it's really interesting. Endless interesting. It sounds really, like I said, with the principles, if you really think, oh, it's logic, of course, fight is no harmony, of course, I have to think right, but how to do it? How to do it? This is something to explain. I think we need some time.
Let's finish there. Yeah,
because I see now we have now an hour. It's a good time. We said a lot. Not enough.
There's always a snippet. Greatly appreciated for giving all of your information, knowledge, and wisdom, explaining your virtues and principles to us. It's really appreciated. Once again, thank you, Sifu.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.